Make the ground shake.
Hello everybody, Sebastian Ventling here again with Progressive Politics, and now I have the pleasure of interviewing Carolina. She's here, a UCLA student. She came out to support Bernie Sanders, and let's ask her why. So Carolina, what is it about Bernie Sanders that made you want to come out here and show your support?
Well, I really don't think it's going to be any bailouts or any tax cuts that are going to help our country right now. I think that the future is dependent on educating our youth. So Bernie is for the students. Bernie is for educating the hundreds of thousands of students that are not able to afford education. And he says it's a national disgrace that the hundreds of thousands of students, or wanted future students, are not able to be students just because they can't afford it. And that alone would change our entire country if those hundreds of thousands could get educated. So I'm fully supporting that. His an app that he's proposing that would make tuition free. So I think that is the most important thing, basically.
That's right. So Bernie Sanders has continuously gone on record to say that it's a national disgrace that the United States of America, someone that has the ability and the will to go to college but not the money, is not able to do it. You agree with that statement?
Absolutely.
So you think that the United States should join the rest of the industrialized world and make college tuition free?
Absolutely. It would change our entire country.
What would you say to those who say that that's impossible and it could never happen?
Well, they said that Bernie would never get elected in the first place, so I think that proves it pretty much right there.
Right, exactly. And how about student loan debt? As we know, the student loan debt here in this country has reached $1.2 trillion and is a bubble on the verge of bursting. What do you think about that situation?
About our debt?
Right.
Well, if we would stop funding all of these wars and invest back into the people, then we wouldn't be having this national debt crisis.
Absolutely. So
And
give a
especially
greater priority
really
to
now.
education in the grand scheme of things.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Right.
not only that, the
Oh,
government...
we're being joined here. What was your name?
Lauren Steiner.
Lauren Steiner
Los
is joining
Angeles
us now.
for Bernie.
Progressive Politics joining us. All right.
Yes, not only that, the U.S. government right now makes $46 billion a year in profit from student debt, interest on student debt. The banks only pay 0.25% interest. Why should the students be paying 7 and 8%, right? Exactly.
Absolutely.
Why should our government be profiting off of students? They should be paying students to go to college, not taking their money. That's what I say. And that's what Bernie says. And that's why we got to make sure that he becomes the next president of the United States. Feel the burn!
Feel the burn. All right, so let's go back to Carolina over here. So I wanted to ask you also about the minimum wage. As you know, the federal minimum wage at this point stands at $7.25 an hour, which equals only to $290 a week. Do you think someone can survive on that meager wage?
Absolutely not. People are working 2-3 jobs just to support their family. And if you're working 2-3 jobs and you're still in poverty, there's something fundamentally wrong with the system.
Absolutely. And what would you say to those who say that raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour will result in less hours and losing their jobs?
Well, if you're giving people more money, they're going to spend it directly into the economy. So if you have more money flowing in the economy and you have, more people with purchasing power, it just doesn't make sense.
Right. And studies have also shown that when you raise the minimum wage, when an employee gets a raise, generally speaking, it reduces their turnover rate and leads to greater productivity. Would you agree with that statement?
Absolutely.
All right. And as far as universal health care, the Affordable Care Act, which was passed several years ago, we've now brought this issue back up, and now we're talking about universal health care, as we still have 30 million people who are uninsured in this country. Do you think universal health care can ever happen?
I think if people, if somehow our country stops thinking that, people are profits and that people, it's so hard to say just because, of course it's possible, but not if it's a for-profit system.
Right. All right. So last question I want to ask you, and we got some crowd going crazy in the background, but the last thing I want to ask you, if Bernie Sanders were here right now and you had the ability to talk to him, what would you say?
Other than you're amazing and I love you. He's an inspiration, and I think that he has a very youthful spirit, and he could inspire millions of young Americans to follow him, and I would thank him for that.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much for meeting with us.